Food is nutrition, but more importantly, it expresses our culture. If we begin to abandon our food, we are not just abandoning one commodity. We are abandoning our entire culture. For example, when we sit to eat, we express seniority in the order in which we pick the meat. Omdala, ngotopa kuqala. That's what we do.
Hi, welcome to Magriza Made Me Cook. My name is Prince Sivala Mahlangu. So it's a crime actually to not mention the work that has been done by Pathisa Nyathi in terms of documenting our history and our heritage. So we got the opportunity to sit down with him, to have an interview and discuss the narrative or the connection between food and culture. This is so important as Ubaba penned a book, he wrote a book about food as a cultural expression. So not only on the discussion or on the interview, I personally, it draws so much work, inspiration from Pathisa Nyathi and on this road of documenting our food. So as a historian, as Ubaba, as also a heritage influencer, philosopher, I draw so much inspiration from Pathisa Nyathi. So we had the chance to talk to him, and this is what transpired. Okay, salubonani Baba Nyathi.
Yebo.
Lijalo.
Hayi ngiphilile.
Liphilile Baba. It's an honor to have you on the show.
Thank you.
My first question, Baba, is this path of documentation, writing books as a historian in terms of your heritage, was this your anticipated career path?
I'm happy to say it was. Documentation takes various forms. One of the several forms is writing. So this is why I was commenting that perhaps it's not very accurate to call me a writer. Okay. More of a documenter, but doing it through writing. Okay. But there are other people who can do it through video filming. Yes. It's a powerful one, but for me, that is the most disappointing field. We have not documented much in terms of video filming.
Yes. Okay. Then where is the challenge there, Baba?
The challenge, we do not have innovative people with skills, people with knowledge of what constitutes culture. But some of us, for the whole year, I could be documenting. And by that, I mean giving the story. Okay. As long as there is somebody who can follow me and documents my stories. This Matobos Hills, I was speaking to the other fellow a few weeks ago. Okay. If I came here and started documenting Matobos Hills as a cultural landscape, it will never end. It's a long story. So you can write. One, you have to appreciate why it was declared a World Heritage Site. Yes. It was because of its cultural endowment. Okay.
The significance, yes.
Yeah, the significance from the rain shrines, from the various grain bins that were here, the rock painting. The rock art is a big field on its own, which we can follow for several weeks. Yes. But I look at people with cameras and I say, but don't they know what to document? Yeah. For me, is to present, to tell the story. Why things were happening the way they did. What is it that attracted men towards this cultural landscape? In fact, natural landscape.
Yes.
Then when men came in, now it became a cultural landscape.
Okay, the different cultures.
The different cultures, you start with the San people, they were the first to settle here, then the Kalanga, the Nubi came in here, the Ndebele were attracted to the same landscape, whites were attracted to the same landscape. What is the allure of that natural landscape?
Oh, it's going to be an avenue to document.
Yes, that's right.
Okay. So, Baba, also, I think you have penned so many books. I think I heard the talk there by the tent. Of all the books, I know it's a difficult question to ask. Which one has been like, lapo civil ngabhala? Or I know you give all of them your answer.
Yes, my books, what I call my books, yes, are those that capture African thought. African philosophy, yes, African view of the world, the African world view, that philosophy. Yes. Those are the books. In other words, going beyond cultural practices, why does the African carry out certain practices, cultural practices?
Okay.
What matters and which is critical to understand the African is to look at what underpins those cultural practices.
Okay.
The why question. Why does he do this? Why does he do that? That is important, and that's his cosmology.
Okay.
That is his worldview. And we seem to be doing very little along those lines.
Okay, so we're sort of lagging behind.
We are lagging behind, but I'm sure I've made some strides in that regard.
Yes.
To try and understand why he does what he does. In other words, what underpins what he would be doing. That is what interests me. I look at stone, and then you find he has built in stone. Why has he built in stone?
Okay.
And virtually all his artifacts do not have right angles, instead they are secular. Why are they secular? Whether he's talking about his kettle pans, he's talking about his hearts, all these are secular in design. And then you look up and say, oh yeah, he got it from there. Inspiration came from the cosmos, came from the heavens. All those heavenly bodies are secular in
the structure.
Is their structure, and they are in constant motion, and they follow elliptical paths, which is to say secular paths.
Okay. Are we still identifying with that secular path as Africans in terms of the spirituality? Identifying, can you see the designs, you spoke about the designs and everything that grounds us as Africans?
Yes, but the African is slowly moving away because he is copying other people's views, world views, cosmologies. So the circle is losing out. It will never lose out in the cosmos because the cosmic bodies will never ever have rectangles. They will never be rectangular.
It will always be secular.
It will always be secular. Humankind will rebel against nature. Okay. And rebelling against nature ensures you don't win. You will never win against nature. Yeah. Never. And nature will destroy you. If you are the source of disequilibrium on the landscape, nature will eliminate you. Then there will be new human beings coming who respect nature. Okay. That's what will happen. Who are aligned to the universe. Who are aligned to nature, the entire universe, and in particular, how it is arranged. And it's the circle. Okay. And that circle has a meaning. Because a circle says, I have no beginning, I have no end. Okay. It means perpetuity, endlessness, continuity.
No start, no end.
No start, no end. Forever and ever. Amen.
Baba, let's look at the issue of food and culture. Mm-hmm. Where is the link now in terms of food identity with culture? I think you once wrote a book on,
yes,
that.
That's true. Food is a component of culture, and a very important one. In that, without food, we are not there. Food is a source of life. It is nutrition. We need that energy. We need those minerals. We need water. All that is part of food. And that's what sustains us on a daily basis. Our continuity is guaranteed through consumption of food. That's very important. And yet, this world will never produce food in the absence of water.
Okay, so water is...
It's all very important that you need the food, but food depends on availability of water. Right, so that's the source of life for animals, for plants. So that's very important. So for us, it is part of our culture, it's the source of life, the source of our continuity as a human species. If food production were to stop now, that's the end of humanity.
End of the world.
That's just the end of the world. As simple as all that.
Okay, Baba, on the book, you also, I think you wrote that you were traveling to Kenya on one of the airplanes. Then you said you were so embarrassed because the food that they were serving was foreign food.
Yes, yes.
So can you say, do us as Africans, do we have a food identity in terms of if someone walks, let's say from Asia and comes here, Matobos, can they identify that this food is here pinned with the history of Matobos?
No, the African is a disaster. The African is a disaster. People are talking about globalization. One thing that we do know, there will be nothing that Africans will contribute to a global culture. In terms of food, they will not. The least adopted cuisine in this world is African food.
Yeah, yes,
because
true.
It's despised, the people themselves are despised, and the Africans are the worst culprits. They fly aircraft, but they don't save their Ischwala. They don't save. Go whether it's Kenyan Airways, Malawian Airways,
South African Airways,
whatever. They are ashamed of themselves, ashamed of their food. And that is a disaster for Africa. If you don't embrace your own food, why do you want foreigners to embrace your food?
Yeah, it'd be difficult.
You should be the first people to embrace your food. Then others will say, let's try out. He seems to be enjoying. Let's try. Umxhanxa.
Yes.
But we are so afraid because we associate Umxhanxa and other traditional cuisines with the primitivity.
Yes.
We think to eat those things, you are displaying your primitivity. There is nothing more disastrous. That's why I say the African is a disaster. And you must accept that.
Going forward to
so that you correct your ways.
Yes.
If we don't appreciate we are a disaster, we will continue the way we are doing. And it is a disaster. A people who have no respect for their past, who don't find any dignity in themselves, a people with no confidence in themselves. Come coronavirus, they are beggars, they are not going to make an effort to invent anything.
No.
They're just happy begging. It's very embarrassing.
It's embarrassing.
Yeah, at least I tell them. That's the good thing.
Yes.
I tell them that they are a disaster.
So can we attribute this loss of food identity to loss of spirituality? Identifying
It is a lot of things. It is a loss of spirituality, but it is also a defeatist attitude. We accepted that we were defeated.
And we carry that.
Those who defeated us have better cuisines, have better food, have better language, have better clothing, have better everything.
Better roads.
Everything. So we abandon everything that is African.
So we
should not see food in isolation. Everything, the way we dress, the way we are talking, it has to be a foreign language. That's what we are doing now.
Yes.
Very, very happy. You get a few Africans and there's one white person who speaks in English. All of us now swing. Instead of saying, hey, fellow, join us.
No,
it will be all these Africans joining in English.
Yeah.
That's characteristic of people who have no confidence
in themselves. Yeah. Can you say the African culture will be extinct if we are following this route?
Because we think being black is a curse.
Yeah.
And indeed, we are insulting God. God knew why He gave us this color for a people in the tropical climates.
And the first people on earth also. Yeah.
If we went to Europe and stayed there millions of years, we would become lighter.
Yes.
Because there is no need for that black melanin. Yes. There's no need for it.
Because the skin pigment is...
They tell you everybody came from Africa. Do not think they left Africa with a white color. It was not there. They were all black.
Yes.
But what is the use of blackness when you are in the Tropic of Cancer, Tropic of Capricorn, beyond those tropics?
Yes.
You don't need a black color.
You don't need
because it's cold.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which are your favorite types of ukudla kwesintu?
Is that which we grew up with or grew up eating? Inkobe, Umxhanxa. That food expresses much more than what we see on face value. Food is nutrition, as I had alluded to. But more importantly, it expresses our culture. So if we begin to abandon our food, we are not just abandoning one commodity.
It's collective.
We are abandoning our entire culture. For example, when we sit to eat, we form a circle.
As
we
you mentioned from...
Yes.
Yes.
And the way our plate, stwala plate, chebo plate, when we get there, now we express seniority in the order in which we pick the meat.
Okay.
Omdala.
Ngotopa
kuqala. That's what we do. And that's important. Somebody may say, how is that important? It's important for discipline. It's important to respect the elders, to learn from them, to respect them. It is important. Food, again, will express your socio-economic status.
Okay.
The diet for royalty was different from the ordinary people. So that was the way. Just like your attire. When they dressed, yes, it's meant to cover nudity. But no, it goes beyond that.
It goes beyond nudity.
It goes beyond nudity to express a people's culture. A man approaches there. From the manner of dress, you can tell, oh, that's a king. That one is a chief. That one is a Ndebele warrior. Oh, that's a royal queen. That one is the story is being told by the manner in which you dress, your attire. That's how, in fact, I think if all goes well, that will be my next book. To look at how dress expresses beyond just keeping our bodies covered, giving us warmth. These are the more mundane contributions or roles of attire, but they express something which is cultural.
Which is very important.
You begin to lose that dress, you are losing culture.
You're losing yourself.
You are losing yourself.
Okay.
Correct.
So, Baba, you've also traveled around the world. Which of the places that you've learned so much, or that you would really appreciate even going back, or even amasiko or anything else that you've...
I think I would want to go back to Kenya. Kenya, because I saw the Maasai.
Okay, the Maasai tribe.
Yeah. They are found both in Kenya and also Tanzania. They seem to have this preference for red attire.
Yes.
And then their dance.
Okay,
See, I love to interpret dance. Why do they dance up and down? Yeah, that's how they do it, up and down. But then you find other people who bend when they dance. Iwosana will do that. The Ndebele will not do that. Because these are people who want to express control over the environment. It's dominance. So Ndebele dance is an expression of dominance. Kalanga Nyubi Shona dance becomes an expression of respect for the environment. But what about the Maasai? I still want to learn why they do it that way. Then, of course, we have other people that I would have loved to make contact with, learn something from them. These are what they call people of the First Nations.
Okay.
The Aborigines, the Maori, and then what used to be known as the Red Indians in Canada, in the United States, in South America. I went to Brazil and I saw a bit of it. I saw what I considered very similar to our culture. Okay. I looked in particular at their basket, exactly the way a Ndebele basket is made, in terms of dyeing that basket exactly the way we do it. And then the design, again, is all about being secular in design.
Following
no difference.
The universe.
Where did they learn that? So I want to know. I'm pursuing the Stonehenge because I see again a white race which has a lot of our culture, And I say, why? But again, it's easy. It all started in Africa.
Cultural progression.
Oh yeah, there was this migration. They did not go there as tabula rasa. They had a culture that they carried from Africa. And now it's difficult for them to understand that culture. But it is still easier because to us, it is still very close to our origins. That's why it's easy for me to interpret Stonehenge. Whereas their professors, the archaeologists, oh yeah, they find it very difficult
to draw the line.
Yeah, they can't appreciate why the chevron. See, to me it's very easy. I know what the chevron means. They don't. But these baskets, not baskets because baskets are perishable. They are clay pots. They are all circular. Why?
Identical, yes.
Yeah,
yes.
It's all to do with the universe. The one unit, the one universally unit building block in this universe is a circle.
It's a circle.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
Thank you.